with only days before a portion of Orleans Parish Sheriff Marlin Gusman's $145 million jail is set to open. On Thursday, Gusman decided to ship 180 Orleans Parish Prison pretrial inmates to prisons in Franklin and East Carroll parishes in Northern Louisiana.
Families are at a loss. They didn't know their family members were leaving, and they don't know how to get in touch with them.
Colin Reingold, the litigation director for the Orleans Parish Public Defender's Office, says they represent 85% of the prisoners in Orleans Parish Prison, and they say that most of the transferred inmates may fall into that number. But he says they weren't notified about the transferring of the inmates until after it happened yesterday through an email from Sheriff Gusman's office.
Prior to that, all we'd heard is that the inmates were moving to the new facility next week.
Experts say the new 1,438-bed jail building and a second building that will remain open until 2017 does not have space for the 1,800 inmates currently in Orleans Parish custody. So while Gusman and his office wrangles with the city over the $85 million facility he wants to fill this empty space between the two buildings, he struck a deal with prisons that are about 200 miles away from Orleans Parish to house the overflow of inmates for about $30 a day.
We hadn't been told that what this sheriff is saying is overflow. It would be going out of parish at all, let alone 4 hours out of parish.
And the moving of the inmates also comes at a time when OPP has been criticized by the unfair treatment of inmates.
There's no way possible that anyone can justify, the living arrangements that these inmates were living under.
Alexander Bourne was released from OPP back in June after serving 9 months while awaiting his trial. He says had he stayed there longer, there's a good chance he would have been one of those inmates shipped to Northern Louisiana. But he says in his short stint at OPP, from what he's observed, the inmates may be better off at another prison.
You have bad people trying to work with bad people, and because you have these bad people that don't understand that a lot of individuals that come through the jail possess mental health disabilities, they don't know how to interact with those individuals appropriately, and they become looked down upon, they're teased, it's just very unfortunate.
And Reingold says the Public Defender's Office has now been put into an unfortunate situation by the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office as well.
We need to see those folks, our clients, before their day of trial. We would be unethical if we didn't visit our clients, talk to them about their defense strategy, talk to them about whether or not they wanted to plead guilty.
He says the Sheriff's Office wants them to handle those legal issues over the phone, but that could be putting defendants at a disadvantage.
And in our experience, they are recorded and are in fact given straight to the prosecutor. So we as a rule never talk about strategy or decision making over the phone because we don't want it to be misconstrued or used against our clients after those conversations.
Reingold says the Public Defender's Office has asked Sheriff Gusman's office to accommodate the travel involved for defenders to meet their clients.
So there are defendants who are upstate who haven't met their lawyer yet, and the lawyer has been trying to meet with them and hasn't been able to, and the sheriff is saying that's a situation they will not accommodate.
But with the Public Defender's Office under budget constraints, accommodating their own travel may be unlikely. So he says they may be forced to take legal action.
Ultimately, we're going to be trying to work with the stakeholders involved, the sheriff, the city, and if we have to go to court to try to get some answers about that, then we will do so.